Oh, hey, good morning, everybody. You are watching Rebel Roundup. I'm your host, Sheila Gunn Reid. It is Wednesday, so I'm joined by my very beloved real life best friend from Regina, Saskatchewan, Lise Merle. Lise is slightly under the weather, so there may be times where we have to cut away from her because she's having some sort of coughing and or sneezing fit simultaneously. Other than that, Lise, how's it going?
Oh, Sheila and Reid, it is a wonderful day. It's our favorite day of the week. It's Western
Yes.
Wednesdays here on the Rebel Roundup, where we get to talk about really pressing matters impacting Western Canadians. And it's an especially fun day because later, right after the show, I'm hitting the road to Shaunavon, Saskatchewan, to an event in Shaunavon, Saskatchewan, and you guys will be shocked at the person that I'm bringing with us. So see you later tonight, Shaunavon. I can't wait. And I
Yes.
can't wait for today's show. I mean, as you know, the news never stops, and neither do we.
That's right. It is Western Wednesdays, and you can tell by that little logo in the corner what we call a bug. I mean, that's our Buffalo panel today. So sometimes we bring in two people, sometimes we bring in just one, sometimes they're here for half the show, sometimes they're here for the whole show, as is the case today, to discuss Western issues. We'll introduce our guests in a second, but I will tell everybody what we're doing. So if you're watching us on Rumble, that's a great free speech platform. Thanks for supporting them. If you want to have your say, and support the work that we do, might I suggest a Rumble rant? That's their paid chat over there. If it's over the $5 US cutoff, we will read it on air. If it's under that, time permitting, we'll do our very best to get to it. If you are watching us on YouTube, that remains a censorship platform where you have to do this weird sort of, I describe it as a prairie chicken mating dance where you sort of have to dance around the issue because there's some words that you can't use and you got to thump your chest and be a little bit more coy than you need to. But those are the pitfalls of doing media online in this modern age. But if you want to support our work over on YouTube, they have a paid chat called a super chat. And if you miss a live version of the show, you can leave a super thanks. That's their paid comment. There, if you see me fussing over my microphone, I have a hair or something on it. It's tickling me, and I can't see it because I'm not wearing my glasses because I only have the serial killer glasses on the desk. But let's bring in our guest, independent journalist Wyatt Claypool, based in Alberta, does a heck of a lot of work in BC, though. Wyatt, how are you?
Not doing too bad. Honestly, I think people always forget I'm an Albertan because I just don't seem like one. I seem like I grew up in like Connecticut and then like moved here when I was like last year or something
Yeah,
like that.
Was it where was the office? Pennsylvania. Maybe Pennsylvania,
right.
Wyatt.
No, that's
Scranton.
too cultured for me. I'm somewhere where like sit on a friend's yacht or something like that and talk about how like I don't know, I don't like the woods or whatever. I'm not an outdoorsy person.
I'll, I'll, I'll do
No
it for
beats
both
for
of
you.
us.
No beats for Wyatt Claypool.
Now, Wyatt, you work with OneBC. And so that's the upstart Conservative Party in British Columbia. And despite some controversy that we don't need to get into over the past few weeks, I think that's sort of behind the party a little bit. OneBC is an option now for the first time in at least the Leger polling. Explain this to us.
Well, this is the first time Leger's ever actually included OneBC in their options. Previously, you could kind of choose us by saying other, and people could
Right.
kind of interpret that if other was at like 8%, that probably means that they're trying to select a very particular option because normally if there's no other big option, other will end up getting like 2 or 3%. So we got 6%, which is pretty good considering that only puts us a little bit behind the Greens, who have been around running in elections for the past 30 years in British Columbia. But this isn't even the best we've done so far. So like Leger usually has a little bit more of a liberal sample.
Sure.
Different pollsters will lean a little bit one way or the other just based on how they gather their samples. So that's really good for a Leger poll for a party like OneBC. It previously, actually, in a Palace poll, we were at 8.1% if the BC Conservative leader is the current interim Trevor Halford. And if Caroline Elliott becomes the leader, it said that we would be at 9.4% tied with the
Mm.
Greens. And then a bunch of other polls put us around 7% or 8%. And it's all a very fast rise. in spite of any bad news stories people put out about us, because frankly, we're offering what a lot of the parties, or at least the Conservative Party, pretended like it was going to offer. And since Dallas Brody has been standing firm on principle, a lot of people have been wanting to follow her.
Yeah, and it looks like it spells trouble for the Conservatives, although, you guys could ultimately be the kingmakers in a coalition government if an election were called, because the Conservatives are down 6%. It looks like you guys picked that right up.
And remember, with Leger is one of those pollsters where if it was done by a different firm, it would probably not be a lead for the NDP. We've seen whenever Angus Reid has done a poll, or whenever one of the other ones has done a poll, usually it's tighter, and oftentimes OneBC is even doing better, despite the fact that the Conservatives may still be leading by 1 or 2 points. And this has happened before with the Greens. We've seen this a couple of times where the Greens were able to, serve their members by getting into government with a couple of seats and holding up the NDP. And I don't think it would be a bad thing that if a BC Conservative government was elected, that they would have to rely on a few principled OneBC MLAs in order to make sure that they actually deliver some conservative policy.
Yeah, and we're big fans of Dallas over here at Rebel News. She's one brave lady, and she's right on all the issues. And she's, as you said, she's standing on principle. She's, supporting free speech on campus. She's, I don't want to say denying a genocide, because that sounds crazy, but she is looking for facts where nobody else seems to be, at least in the mainstream media, with regard to residential schools. And I think people really appreciate that in a post-truth society.
Oh, I was just about to say, she's willing to confront the truth. And in a world where everybody is satisfied just lying 100% of the time, that makes her really unique in the political landscape in Canada. Dallas Brody's taken up all the air in the room of BC. Okay, everybody, whether you're NDP or whether you're Conservative, Dallas Brody is the one that people are talking about. And it's because she's willing to tell the truth. This was just a fantastic conversation at the Conservative Party convention over the weekend. Go ahead, Wyatt.
Oh yeah, you did a great interview with Dallas, but the funny thing is that Dallas was at the federal conservative convention in Calgary there, which you wouldn't normally expect from a smaller party leader to show up to. But the funny thing is that there were multiple BC conservative leadership candidates there, but rather tellingly, nobody knew who they were. And so all the BC delegates at that convention would just go and talk to Dallas and surround her. And, all the other people would still have people talking to them, but it'd be like insider people who know everybody. But they would mostly stand around with their teams of strategists and consultants from Ontario and Quebec, trying to I guess schmooze with MPs, trying to get some endorsements or whatever. But the average delegate didn't really care who many of these people were.
Right. Because Dallas
thought myself.
Yeah, we did. Dallas is talking about the things that regular non-official conservative types want to talk about, and she's not scared to do it.
No.
Even just down to the policy of a tax cut, I actually don't think a single BC Conservative leadership candidate right now is even running on the concept of cutting taxes. This, for some reason, constantly happens inside the BC Conservatives and previously BC United and Liberals. They'll give it tax credits or something like that, but it's never just a full-on small government type a move to reduce the amount of government in your life. We haven't seen that since 2001 or so with Gordon Campbell, when he cut taxes actually 50% back then.
What a time to be alive that was. Let's move ahead. We've got Stephen Harper in a recent speech. By the way, if anybody saw his portrait, the portrait on the website is interactive, because everything in the portrait, his official portrait, is calculated, placed there for a reason, right down to the cat, the pictures in the background. So if you get a chance later on today, head on over to the official portrait of Stephen Harper, click through the link, and it's interactive. There's the wild roses in there. It's just delightful. But he ended his very recent speech with a call to unity, saying, in these perilous times. Stephen Harper, as we know, is a federalist, so nobody get mad at him if you're a Western separatist. I'm not gonna. he says, in these perilous times, both parties, whatever their differences, come together against external forces that threaten our independence and against domestic policies that threaten our unity. Let's watch the clip. And I'm just like, what else is he going to say? Like, the separatists might get mad, but I'm not. I like him. I don't care.
I will repeat that. I sincerely hope that mine is just one of many portraits of prime ministers from both parties that will continue to be hung here for decades and centuries to come. But that will require that in these perilous times, both parties, whatever their other differences, come together against external forces that threaten our independence and against domestic policies that threaten our unity. We must preserve Canada, this country handed down to us by Providence, preserved by our ancestors and held in trust for our descendants. We must make any sacrifice necessary to preserve the independence and the unity of this blessed land. As I have said before, le Canada est et a toujours été notre pays.
Okay, that's good.
Okay.
I truly believe he does love Canada. Like, you feel like he loves this place when he talks about it. But I do appreciate the fact that he put domestic policies right up there with external threats. They are equally dangerous to Canada. And I don't even think there's external threats that are dangerous to Canada in the way that one might suggest, unless we're talking about foreign interference from the Chinese and Asian extortion gangs running amok.
To give that one part of the speech a compliment, notice it's refreshing. I know he's not the current leader of Canada, but it's nice to have a former leader or a current leader not talk about how we're on stolen land for a change.
Yeah.
Talking about, this country given to us by Providence. Like, okay, that's nice. I
It's
like
nice.
that. It
feels
obviously he's
nostalgic.
oh my goodness, it's like this is how people used to talk in 2006. Isn't that nice?
Right.
I'm because I'm just 26 years old. I'm nostalgic for like the Smash Mouth era of world culture, and back in the day
kick
where
him
we
off
took for
this
granted.
call.
Yeah, where we used to, that era where we actually used to think that we own the things that we currently own.
Right.
And so hopefully, I guess he was trying to be unifying, although I don't really suspect a lot of people are going to follow his lead on that one there. That's the problem with unity a lot of times in federal politics, is that the unity only ever goes one way. Conservatives are told to unify with liberals,
Right.
but it never goes
Right.
back the other direction. I do like the idea that probably interim NDP leader Don Davies was in that room, and Stephen Harper only talks about both parties having more prime ministers, pictures on the wall. There's always being snubbed all the time.
Thank you so much. Like, I appreciate that was a savage burn by Stephen Harper saying, we want many prime ministers of both parties to hang on these walls. And I just thought, imagine what it felt like to be an NDP in that moment. Exactly.
Yeah, sorry, Avi Lewis.
Yeah, exactly what they deserve. But listen, I will not be going to the official portrait website to discover all of the many details. What I want to know is, how much did it cost taxpayers to honest to God, how much did it cost taxpayers to paint another humongous portrait that these people can walk by and gaze their view upon in Ottawa? This doesn't benefit the country. We have homeless people on the streets. We have people dying of addictions in this country. And here we have Stephen Harper saying we need to make any sacrifice necessary to save Canada. The people of Canada have sacrificed enough. Thanks very much. And I think that this is extraordinarily tone deaf. This is not going to put to bed any of the arguments of the people that say this is a uniparty, that there is no difference between the Conservatives and the Libs because they just work in these circles together. And the last thing, honestly, when I'm looking for fight out of the Conservatives, the last thing I want to see is, Conservatives sidling up to Liberals and having a good old time in Ottawa. I just think it's spectacularly tone deaf. And to be completely honest, I don't care about the portrait.
I'm not upset about the portrait and whatever money it costs, because Stephen Harper, like, he didn't renovate 24 Sussex because he knew that it would look like he was spending money on himself. He didn't have nannies because he didn't want to look like he was spending money on himself. And so I
But
think
like,
I think he made those sacrifices. But
is
and
$1
like
million too much for this vanity project, or like what's the price? Because I think that
do
there's
like
he was going to get one anyway.
I do
Like,
like
he was.
Liz's idea where we could modify it where you only get a crayon drawing until we're out of deficit. We have to
Sure.
earn our way into getting a nice
Okay.
portrait. But
stick figure.
Put it into Grok until we're out of extreme debt. We'll have
Yeah.
Grok make the next one.
Because the painting is still on screen, I'm going to hijack your show and turn this into
Sure.
eTalk Canada.
Please.
This is the last time anyone's ever going to remember the name eTalk Canada. But do you guys actually like the painting? I think it's good, but I always hate when they put like the little details all over the
I
photo.
like the
It beco-
details.
the details are fun, kind of, but you got to like reduce them. Because back in the day, it would just be some guy sitting in a chair looking very regal, and
Right.
I actually kind of liked that. I never like when it becomes like, "Where's Waldo?" in the background.
I like that. Maybe I'm just bored.
I love a good Easter egg and a piece of art. Like, I like when art leads you to other places. For instance, I saw a post that zoomed in on the books that are on the table beside him.
Yeah.
I love that level of detail. However, I don't want the taxpayers having to pay for it. Don't like, I just think that we are not in an economic place for us to celebrate these excesses of Ottawa. And
We just enjoy the plain socks. Let's just enjoy the plain socks for a second.
Oh, actually, yeah.
Just regular old trouser socks.
I also like
that's
that they-
great.
I also like that they didn't make it like needlessly abstract or whatever. Like you always get those
Right.
new paintings of the new governor generals trying to be like super modern, and it's like abstract. It's like, I'm sorry, people in 20, 30 years when they're touring the governor general's mansion are not going to care about your like particular favorite style of pointillism at the time. Can we just have a portrait that depicts you? And I at least like that Stephen Harper's portrait actually just depicts him. Maybe take a few Easter eggs out of the back, but it's a nice change in form. I'm wondering what Justin Trudeau is going to do. It's going to look like a Katy Perry album cover or whatever.
Oh, can you guys just imagine? It'll
I'm
be
already
like scratch
dreading
and
the
sniff.
socks.
It'll be scratch and sniff.
Gross.
Sorry.
Gross. All right. Let's move ahead. Mark Carney. He got applause for a conservative balanced budget. And it's such an incredible self-own. He tried to salvage it, but it was pretty good. Let's watch.
Came to Ottawa as a balanced budget conservative, believing rightly.
We have to pause for applause.
Oops.
That would hurt.
Big applause.
I got to a comma, not a period. Believing rightly that government should live within their means. You like that as well.
Okay, so do that.
Came to Ottawa.
Who wrote that speech? Like, who wrote that speech? What a leg snare for him. Is that person mad at him? Like,
it seems like it. It seems like it walked him right into it, and then he got to sit there and listen to it.
It wouldn't shock me if someone made him stick his foot in a bear trap, considering that there seems to be a lot of people in the Liberal Party who don't like him very much right now. He just lost his third MP, with Nate Erskine-Smith making it clear he's going to go and transition into Ontario provincial politics. I think he has a few more people, but that's the thing you have with Mark Carney is I think there's actually a lot of people in his party, probably just a mistake in the speech, but there's a lot of people who don't like him on a stylistic level, and so he's actually having his party divide at the moment based on the fact that he's very cliquey, and he likes to keep his inner circle full of like country club type liberals.
Sure.
And I guess the three people who have left were not part of that.
Oh, well, poor Nate. Poor Nate has been just waiting for his day to come, and he's going to have to wait a long time.
Yeah.
Poor guy.
Yeah, he thought he was going to be on the front bench there, didn't he?
Sure did.
And he was passed right over.
The front bench. He got to be on the front bench for approximately 3 weeks. That was the funniest thing I've seen in like the last couple of years in Canadian politics. To coax Nate back into running for the Liberals again, because he was originally going to retire. Yeah, he did not. He announced in like sometime in like the fall of 2024 he wasn't going to run again, and then then Mark Carney approached him and like, I'll make you my housing minister if you agree to run again. And he did stay true to his word, and he let Nate be the housing minister until after the election. So he got to be the housing minister, didn't get to do anything post-election. Imagine being replaced by Gregor Robertson as the housing minister, the guy who destroyed housing in Vancouver.
Yeah.
What an honor it must have been.
Right.
Yeah. Couldn't have happened to a better guy.
Then taking your butt hurt to the internet the way he did.
Oh, that was a meltdown of epic proportions. It's amazing.
That's the funny thing. On his way out right now, he has that little, like, in his statement, he's like, I'm always going to stand behind Mark Carney and the Liberals. It's like, he has to say that because he wants to run for Ontario Liberal Party leader, and he doesn't want Mark Carney deliberately screwing him over. But for like the past 6-7 months, he's been like, oh my goodness, I don't like he's been like basically whining about what's gone on with the flight attendants union. He was whining about the budget. He was whining about removing the carbon tax. He's whined about like everything since all this happened.
Right. He's a very fickle dude. Let's keep going. Mark Carney claimed the industrial carbon tax has zero effect on food inflation. And then Poilievre corrects him on the math. You'd think a global banker would know what factors into inflation, but apparently he didn't. Let's watch.
Canadians deserve to have a full stomach, a full fridge, and a full bank account all at once. But the Prime Minister has said that he could be judged by the price at the grocery store. Since that time, food inflation has doubled, and grocery prices are rising faster in Canada than any other country in the G7. My theory is that his taxes, his carbon taxes on farm equipment, fertilizer, food processors, his new tax on diesel and gas is the cause. That's my theory. What's his?
Hear, hear. The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, the impact of the industrial carbon tax on food prices is, as estimated by the Canadian Climate Institute, approximately zero.
Oh my God.
The impact of the fuel charge, which exempts diesel, which exempts gasoline, which exempts fertilizer, which exempts food processors, is de minimis. What it does do, the fuel charge, though, is support the people of the farmers of Battle River, Crowfoot, supports canola production, it supports biofuels, it supports our future.
Hear, hear. The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Well, now we'll have to find out if the Prime Minister is telling the truth or whether his Environment Department is telling the truth. Their document shows that he says it doesn't apply to gasoline. According to his own Environment Department, it applies to both diesel and gasoline, 7 cents a litre this year. And yes, it does apply on farmers, fishers, and others. But regardless, we have the highest food inflation in the G7. I've given my theory on why, under his leadership, Canadians are paying more faster than anyone else. What is his theory for his terrible record on food inflation?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, I know the Leader of the Opposition is just visiting his riding. But he would spend more time...
I think we'll have to start that from the top.
Okay, we've got Poilievre's quip back. We'll show in a second there, but you notice the experts that Mark Carney cited there. The Canadian Climate Institute says that we are experiencing food inflation, but it has nothing to do with climate policy.
Hey, Sheila Gunn Reid, who tell us who funds those guys?
The federal government, a $20 million 5-year funding contribution. So this is the federal government funding the experts to say the things that you need them to say, and then citing those people as nonpartisan experts in the House of Commons. So they will say whatever they're paid to say, as long as they get the next $20 million funding top up.
I know this is the least important part of this entire clip, but I have to go back and mention the fact that did Mark Carney seriously use the word diminishment? What was that?
Oh my God. He had
Dude, I
said a
look the-
British turn of phrase.
Yeah, I look the way I do, and I even want to go dump his books now. But like, he has like it's like a COVID death way of trying to figure out inflation. You know, inflation's just whatever you want it to be. Inflation comes from whatever source you want. You get hit by a car, but you tested positive for COVID, so you really got killed by COVID.
Right.
You know, food is up 6.1%. This year in terms of food inflation. And yes, we have the industrial carbon tax adding a lot to the price of
Clean
diesel and
fuel
gasoline.
standards, yeah.
But we're very offended by Trump right now. Ergo, the tariffs are what covers everything, even though it
Right.
doesn't actually cover food.
Right. Yeah. And the clean fuel standards. Lise?
Yeah, no, this is classic liberal denialism,
Mhm.
where they push hidden taxes on an unsuspecting public and then deny that there's any negative consequences. If you've gone to the grocery store, if you had gone to the grocery store 4 years ago, you could pick up 25% more groceries for the same price. That's almost unforgivable. And there's one party that we can thank for this. It's the Liberal Party of Canada. And yet they're so disconnected. These elites in Ottawa are so disconnected from their own decisions that they have no idea how their decisions have been impacting Canadians.
Right. And they
There's a
keep talking.
reason. Yeah, there's a reason why food bank usage is at an all-time high. There's a
Right.
reason why childhood hunger is at an all-time high. Why we have to pitch these stupid ideas like the National Food Program in schools. It's because of liberal policy.
Right.
And yet to see them there deny it, it's so maddening.
Yeah.
That
And
does
like
drive me-
deny like they haven't been in charge for the last 11 years.
Right?
Like they talk about they talk about the issue like they just showed up
Right,
and were
and it was
handed a
here.
mess.
That
They-
does drive
it's
me
their
up the wall.
mess.
It is my biggest government pet peeve is when they will celebrate passing something like the National School Food Program. And it's like, well, thanks for breaking my legs and giving me a crutch. If they just cut taxes, we wouldn't need any of these programs at all. I had a conservative strategist. He's, I think it's some Mark Levesque or whatever on X. He was talking about how you can't run on a 20% across the board tax cut if you're the Conservatives, because this is just some idea I've been pitching
Why
that
not?
they should do. And he was saying, well, you're going to have to answer the question of what programs you would be cutting. And it's like,
All of them.
you won't need the programs if we cut the spending.
Right,
You don't
right.
need stupid
All
programs,
of them.
Soviet-style programs if this is going on. Honestly, I think Mark Carney might shoot himself in the foot with this whole GST rebate thing. One,
Oh,
it only
I'm
goes
so happy
to...
you're bringing it. Thank you, Wyatt. Yes, pop off.
It only
bro.
applies to the bottom 30% of earners. And so everyone else, especially those just a little bit above that, are going to be ticked off by it. And then at the same time, even if you are getting the checks, one, working class voters are already moving over to the Conservative Party, but also it comes across really insulting. Like I've been painting this picture to Conservative MPs because I wish they would like run on this. Don't just bring up the fact that it's going to add a lot to the deficit. At this point, the deficit is just big. Nobody cares if it gets another $5 billion added onto it.
Exactly
But
this.
I
It's
care.
such a huge number that it has no meaning to people.
It's abstract.
The
It's already
difference
sucks,
between
like-
the difference between 79 billion and 83 billion is like people can't even compute that. It's just a huge
But-
number
Right.
getting huger.
But what the thing is that's going, why this is probably going to tick people off is, and what I've been basically telling Conservatives to do is, it's like the distant father kind of a thing with Mark Carney. He's sitting at the adult table having dinner, and Canadians run over to him from the kids table, talk about all their problems. He's like, "Here's $200, leave me alone. Please just go back and sit over there." He's like basically trying to give you the bare minimum to
Right.
get you to leave him alone. And I think that's not going to be lost on a lot of people. He's basically, again, he's like, "Here's $200. I think that's what milk costs these days. I'm going to China."
Right.
Right.
What could it possibly cost, Michael? $10?
What does the banana
banana.
cost?
What does the banana cost? $10, Michael?
$10?
Or-
That's Mark
If
Carney.
yeah, exactly. If
He
you've
would- he
seen
would-
Arrested Development, you know what I'm
I
talking
was
Oh,
about
he
to
would
say
have no
Arrested
idea.
Development.
Yeah.
He would have no idea how much milk or a carton of eggs or butter would
Right.
cost. Absolutely not. Yeah.
We've got that clip sort of cut off before Polyev got the best of Carney, because Polyev is great on his feet. So good on his feet. Let's show the quip. So when Carney says, "Oh, I realize you're just visiting your riding." One of the largest, geographically speaking, ridings in Alberta, by the way, and he's got 2 offices there. But anyway, by the way, how long did it take for Carney to actually get an office in his riding?
It
It
was
was
like
quite
5 or
some,
6
it
months.
was quite
something.
some time, right? You couldn't
Yeah.
go visit your MP. Let's just say that, for a very long time. But anyways, let's just show the clip of Poilievre getting the best of him.
Mr. Speaker, I realize the Prime Minister is just visiting Canada. And so I welcome him. Let's go to my riding. Let's go to Drumheller. Let's go to Camrose. Let's go to Consort, and let's ask them if they believe that when you charge a 7-cent a litre tax on diesel and on gasoline to grow and ship food, when you tax fertilizer and farm equipment, whether that gets passed on in the highest grocery prices in the G7. Is he ready to make that trip and talk about that tax?
You can't throw him right over the plate and not think that Poilievre's gonna smack it over the fence.
He was
It's
not
not-
having a good day yesterday with
No.
setting up people up for really good counter punches, like with, again, the previous clip that he had played about him celebrating Harper for balanced budgets.
It's a bad day for Mark Carney. He's just not good in the House of Commons. He's not sharp. He's not a debater. He's a bankster. He's
Yes.
a wonk. He's a policy wonk, and not even in a good way. So he doesn't have the back and forth training. He's good at reading the talking points that come from his staffers,
Well,
but he's not great at giving it.
He's accustomed to making declarations from on high.
Right.
He's not accustomed to people asking him questions or making demands of him or, opposing what he's saying. And it shows.
Well, isn't it
Yeah.
funny that all the policy experts are always the ones who seem to suck at their jobs the most? All the people who are wonks, who really like to get into the detail of policy, always give us the worst policy imaginable. Like, I took a master's degree in public policy, and all it taught me was I don't like policy people, because they're the type of insane people who like, when a piece of legislation comes out, they'll be like, on page 70 it gets good. It's like, why are there 70 pages? But that's the thing
Right.
with Mark Carney. He thinks that we can regulate and legislate our way into wealth. But that doesn't really work unless you're an insider. And when you're running the country, you
Right.
can't benefit the country that entire way. Brookfield is a massive scam from the perspective that Brookfield only ever did well because they corner the subsidy market. They tend to get a
Right.
lot of subsidies from the government for all the industries they're involved in. They're not just starting profitable companies that would exist on their own. They enter markets where the government's throwing money at solar or throwing
Yes.
money at battery farms and all this
Nuclear.
stuff.
Nuclear.
You couldn't not make money.
Right. Right.
Crookfield.
Before we hit an ad break, let's talk about good boomers, because I'm real hard on them Eastern boomers. So Central and Eastern boomers, I don't get you. I think your voting habits are contrary to civilization, like the rules of civilization, where you're supposed to make sacrifices for the young people, and the young people have more than you had, and then they all have, like, the young people after them continue. Like, that's how society has moved forward. That's how we got out of the caves and got into cities and continued to going into space and having satellites and all those things. Didn't happen by accident. The older generation sacrificed for the welfare of the younger generation. Except now, where the Eastern boomers are like, I bought my house for a penny whistle and a moon pie, and now it's worth $2.5 million. And sorry, young people, you're just going to have multi-generational mortgages and live in these multi-family homes forever and strangle geese in the public park for food. Like, that's what the Eastern boomers are voting for. I don't get it, because our blue boomers, our bloomers out west are different. They've lived through some Carneys or through some Trudeaus, and they don't like it. And again, please don't send me emails if you didn't vote for Mark Carney. You're not one of these boomers I'm talking about. Just stop with the angry emails. I'm not talking about you.
I get those all the time.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like, Lise and I say this all the time. There's something wrong with the voting habits of middle-aged white women. but we know that you're not talking about us when you say those things, right?
Yeah, yeah, we don't take offense. When somebody says the word Karen, you know what I don't do?
It ain't me.
Freak out at all.
It ain't me.
It doesn't apply to me. Yeah.
I'm not at the ICE protest with my minivan. It's not me. I'm not the problem here. But we've got some good boomers, and I want to point them out so that maybe one of you will think twice before you hit send on that email, okay? A group of comfortable retirees are calling on Ottawa to shrink their old age security payments, saying they don't need the money and it would be better spent on other priorities.
Whoa.
That's actually incredible, yeah.
I love this. The guy says, and I want to say his name because he deserves to be known as the sensical Eastern boomer. It makes no sense to me that I receive OAS, said Harry Grossmith, one of 11 retirees featured in a new video produced by advocacy group Generation Squeeze. I'm not poor, I'm not struggling, and yet I receive a bonus every month just for simply being a senior. We don't need and don't want OAS anymore, said fellow retiree Victor Grosstern.
Oh, would this be a good time to say that if you're an Eastern bloomer and you got too much money in your bank account every month, Rebel
Don't
News
take it from the
is only
youngsters.
$8. Yeah, you could reroute some of that extra money the way of independent media. But no, this is I think really timely in that if this is one guy and he represents, say, I don't know, just say 10% of the population, 10% of the population that would feel this way, that would be an extraordinary savings over time if they reevaluated people's need for these payments.
Well, and I think this just points to a deeper thing about a lot of programs in Canada. We need means tested programs. The problem is that we simply just kind of throw money out to everybody, whether they need it or not. So often we're giving money to people who don't really need it, and we actually spend a crazy amount of money sending out these checks every month anyways. But the thing is, you do get voters who they live comfortable lives, they own 2 homes, and they still vote to maintain as high a payout for their pensions as possible. And you're like, oh my goodness, guys, we could have actually all been wealthier if we actually weren't paying into this over time. But again, Canada, in a lot of ways, at least liberal Canada, tends to be a country of mediocrity, where we all basically sit around trying to count our pennies from our pension rather than actually just trying to make a more prosperous country where we don't rely on the government. But then we all still, and even when you don't need to the government, you still basically vote in order to maintain the benefits.
Yeah.
This article points out just how costly this is. And when you think about the demographic, right? Like there are more old people than young people in this country. I think that's an economic problem going forward. But they say, under the current rules, retired couples with incomes of up to $182,000 annually may qualify for the full $18,000 annual benefit. Again, Wyatt's right. This should be means tested.
Yes.
I would like to top up the lower income seniors and claw back from the rich seniors, right?
Right.
OAS is currently Canada's costliest federal program. I did not know that.
I didn't either.
No, eating up roughly $1 in every $6 in federal spending. This amounted to a total of $85.5 billion in 2025-2026 and is expected to exceed $1 billion annually by the end of the decade as more people move into the boomer zone.
Good. You said grief. 1 billion, 100 billion.
100 billion. Sorry, thank you.
Yeah, that would have been really a nice savings for the country.
We might actually win an election. The Conservatives
way,
might win if those boomers disappeared.
We could reduce, by the way, when I was proposing that we reduce taxes across the board, all brackets, corporate, and GST by 20%, not only could we easily pay for it by just reducing a little bit of waste in government, a little, people who are making $180,000 a year getting $18,000, and also that's just full benefits. There are people in theory making more than that, or at least getting part of the payment. We could easily pay for 20% tax cuts across the board that would benefit everybody and reduce just checks going through the mail to people who really don't care. or really don't need it. This is like a rounding error in terms of the income they get off of dividends from their investments, which is great. And even then, if we actually cut taxes, we'd probably, like, we are on the wrong side of the Laffer curve right now. If we reduce taxes, we would probably bring in more tax revenue from not dissuading people from working.
That's what Harper did. This fancy little Lego hair. He reduced taxes and revenue went up. Anyway, let's hit an ad break.
I've never thought of him as having Lego hair, but now
he does have Lego hair. Now think about it. Because the Lego lid, we used to call him. Okay, let's hit an ad break. We'll come back on the other side. I think we've got a few more things out of Alberta and our premier being excellent on a couple of things, and then we'll wrap the show.
Gun bans make great distractions.
Trudeau may be gone, but Carney has picked up his same rhetoric.
We will quickly, and I mean quickly, reinvigorate the buyback of
Hunters, collectors, competitors, and defenders of tradition are still being targeted, while criminals run wild under Liberal policy. But we are fighting back. Join us, Canada's National Firearms Association, in defense of freedom.
You like the hat? Me too. Same strong message about making Canada great again, but in a really cool color, black and gold. There's other colors available, and it's an all-Canadian site. So if you want to signal your tribe or trigger a Liberal, go to mcgahats.ca today.
Canadians know the national anthem. They stand in silence to remember those who died for this country. But not every Canadian knows their rights and freedoms. The Freedom Passport will change that. It looks and feels like a Canadian passport, but contains the Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms in a portable, easy-to-read format. The Freedom Passport. Order one for yourself and for all the freedom lovers that you love at freedompassport.ca.
All right, we're back. Before we move into some more Alberta content, Lise, do we want to?
Yes.
We can anonymize it.
Yep.
But I think it was on Monday when we hosted the show, we put out a call because we had heard that there were some problems with the electronic voters, and I'm not being conspiratorial. Somebody came and told us during the single failed policy at the Conservative Party convention, the single failed policy being the one to enshrine a parent's right to access therapies to help children with gender dysphoria that don't require medicalizing. So anyways, we got an email. They sent it to my email, but it was for Lise, so I forwarded it on. So Lise, maybe you want to just read this. This is anecdotal. This is one of, and again, if you are a person that experienced this, I want to hear from you. It's tips@rebelnews.com, and then we'll move on. So, and we have to be careful. YouTube does not care for us talking about electoral fraud. It's big no, but we're just going to read this.
This is not what we're claiming. This is just what people are reporting to us. And so again, if you have information about the vote that happened between 4 o'clock and 5 o'clock on Saturday afternoon at the Conservative Party convention in Calgary, please get in touch with us at tips@rebelnews.com. Okay, this is the email we received.
It's a bit of a long one. But.
Yeah, I'd like to comment on my observations on the voting process in the afternoon voting of the policy plenary session Saturday afternoon. Early on in the session, some of the devices for voting there were having some difficulty in people's voting being sent from their device. Instructions were given to the people on how to deal with the problem, and that seemed to work on each of the policies that were being voted on. But when it came time for the voting on submission, number 1282-99, family, parental right to body-affirming therapy for kids, it seems right away that the complaint went out, my vote is not going through. It seemed the technology was not working properly. There were several throughout the room that complained of this, whether or not they didn't try and whether or not They didn't try to implement the solutions that were given. It was understood that the vote was not getting counted. So the vote was stopped and a new attempt was implemented to try voting a second time. The second time, the same thing happened again. Right away, the call went out. My vote is not going through. So a second time, the voting process stopped. Candice Bergen and Andrew Scheer stopped to consult with the company running the machines as to what should be done. It was decided that they would allow a third vote, but that this was going to be the final vote on the policy. The vote went through with no more comments. When the results were announced, 51.85% voted for the policy, but it did not meet the second threshold. Therefore, it was defeated. I found this very disturbing. In all of the other policies there was not this difficulty. After the voting was completed, I went over to the table and asked the representative from the company that had the machines if it was possible, if someone in the room could be using a jamming device or some kind of blocker. He commented to me that the machines were 2.4 gigahertz and that he hadn't heard of such a thing, but there was definitely some kind of interference that was happening at the time of the vote. I would like to comment that Candice Bergen and Andrew Scheer did their best to see that a fair and just outcome was achieved. Possibly, Rebel News could drill down on the story to find the CPC's explanation, and then it just goes on and on. But this is on the one policy, okay, on the one policy that failed. This is real interesting. This is a real curious story that we're being told here. So again, if you were there during the vote and witnessed it, really, we want to hear the experience of everybody in that room, to be completely honest. Again, tips@rebel.com. And thanks so
rebelnews.com.
Yeah. Thanks so much to the intrepid viewer that sent that note to us. We're just gonna chase this story down. Listen, it sounds like something curious happened, and we're just going to be curious about it.
And I'm willing to concede that this is not, it doesn't have to be a conspiracy. It could have been just a thrice technical issue where people just got frustrated and said, I'm not even going to vote now. Well, like it could have been just that.
But that has disastrous consequences on parents that are
and
trying
it
to get
did.
kids.
And it did.
Yes. So anyway, we are going to be looking into this story.
Yeah,
and if you'd like to add to it, why you were there, if your people would like to add to it, please let us know. Thanks, guys.
That's really a policy that they should probably send out a survey to all the federal conservative members, because I feel like if they asked all federal conservative members, that policy like that would have probably passed by like 90%.
Exactly.
And part of this also could just be, you do get a certain type of blue liberal consultant faction who basically tries to vote down every single grassroots thing. If you're in the constitutional session where they have all the constitutional votes to make nominations more transparent, require reasons to be given for people kicked out of federal conservative nominations. I was watching it, and on the left side of the room, people who were involved in getting me kicked out of Calgary Signal Hills federal nomination, just sitting there trying to vote down every single thing. Campaign consultants who, you know, they are happy that people get kicked out of nominations because it's never their guy.
Right.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Okay. So we got that out of our systems.
Thanks, guys. Yeah.
I know you needed that. Danielle Smith, this is a post from her from, I think it was yesterday. Proud to see Alberta recognized by the Fraser Institute for leading the country on fiscal responsibility. Despite global uncertainty and low oil prices, Alberta's government is keeping taxes competitive, paying down debt, growing the Heritage Fund, and creating conditions for jobs and investment. See the full report here. Who's number 2?
Doug Ford somehow.
Ontario. Nope. Then New Brunswick, then Saskatchewan. Well, I'm surprised we're that far down the list. Like what's going on, Saskatchewan?
Honestly, the biggest tragedy there is that number 3 was Blaine Higgs, who ended up getting beaten by the Liberal candidate for New Brunswick Premier. Imagine that. You had a maritime premier who ended up getting a maritime province to balance the budget for 3 years straight and have a surplus. Like, that's unheard of, but of course they ended up voting him out because, again, that was getting too fiscally responsible for an Atlantic province, so they got rid of him.
Yeah, they voted in the lady with the husband with the pride belt. Remember Sheila?
Right, you wore a pride belt.
I still can't get over it. Yeah. Yeah, that's what they did in New Brunswick. Like, what even happened? My goodness.
Yeah. Are you surprised though? I wasn't. Everything is just production for these people.
True story.
Just staying on the topic, but it's not on the list. Do you remember yesterday when we were talking about the Edmonton Chamber of Commerce coming out and saying, oh, the threat of independence is scaring off investment, because that's what it did in Quebec, even though Quebec and Alberta are completely different places with different economies. And Quebec lives and breathes on equalization, and we just send it out. So you can't compare the two. I just put it in the chat, Olivia. It's was a post from an ice cream owner. I think an ice cream owner. Yeah, a cookie store or ice cream store in Lethbridge. Says they're considering leaving Alberta. Or whatever will our economy do? And he says it's the owner of Cookie Crimes Ice Creamery in Lethbridge, posting a video how the talk of separation is affecting his future business plans. Maybe we can watch that first.
Oh my god, I knew what he looked like as soon as he said the name of his company. How can we not? Oh my goodness, how are we going to survive without the designer cookie ice cream place? How are we going to? We can't. The economy is like 50% hipster boutique snack restaurants.
Right. Let's watch.
Hi, I'm an Alberta business owner, and my commercial lease is up for renewal this year. I'm going to tell you about 2 amendments that I'm going to be making to that commercial lease to address the issue of separatism. First clause, if Alberta becomes constitutionally its own country, if it officially separates, my lease will be dissolved. I am going to define clear actions made by governments that would make that very clear, very cut and dry to my landlord and to myself when that cutoff point is.
Okay.
And what am I going to do when my lease is over?
Okay,
I'm going to take my family, I'm going to take all of my equipment, and I'm going to move my business back to Canada where it's safe.
Sayonara.
The second one, if our country
I feel like
declares
family
a
means
national
cats.
emergency, declares war, is under attack for any reason like that, and I'm unable to run my business, the lease is going to be cut. All of the separatist talk is bad for business. And it's not even the act of separation, it's the talk of separation. Capital is fleeing, investment is fleeing our province. This is what happened to Quebec when they were doing that too. It is utter nonsense. Of course, with any lease agreements, I'm going to be running this through a lawyer, but what I'm going to do
Yeah, I
is when
think you
those
should.
clauses are complete, I'm going to be publishing them for free, open on my webpage. So anybody, any other business owner can make use of those amendments.
Okay, great. Yeah, I'll go to your blog spot.
I'm not doing this because I think it's going to happen. This is risk
feels
management.
like you are.
I'm doing it in preparation for the event that it did happen. I have great belief in my fellow Canadians that if we were to vote in a referendum, that we would vote the right direction. But I am preparing for the worst case situation, and I think you should too. The world is changing, and we need to be ready for it.
Sir, worst case scenario is that you terminate your lease and some newcomer to Alberta who came from Ontario or BC or Saskatchewan, because there are so many people that are watching this with such great interest saying, I'm moving there. Like if they're out, I'm out too. I'm going with them. You feel free to go sell your overpriced snack foods in old Canada. Feel free. Don't let the door hit you on the way out, bud.
Yeah, like I watched this and I'm like, thanks, shut up. Can I have my cherry cheesecake 2 scoops? Like, what are you doing?
I'm not even pro-independence, but that guy made me like so much more pro-independence listening to him.
Yeah, keep
I would
talking.
vote.
He's radicalizing
I would
people.
vote for him to just like leave the province. We should actually just change we should just change the referendum and just specifically we'll just have a photo of that guy and it says yes or no on it. It'll be a very, very easy vote to pass. Yeah, like apparently like his ability to sell butter pecan ice cream is going to be destroyed if Alberta separates from the rest of Canada. All these people they don't live in the real world. They want to constantly feel like they're sticking up to, like they're, they're sticking it to the man, while they are literally the man. Like they are literally the type of people who stand with the establishment, and they act like they're like fighting back against like this like big authoritarian movement coming at them or whatever. It's like, oh my goodness, these people, it's just so, and especially in Lethbridge, the idea that there's that many people who really are on this guy's side in Lethbridge, not in terms of pro-independence or not pro-independence, but being what really this guy is, a histrionic Alberta NDP supporter. A monthly donor to Nenchi's party. That's really what the guy is, and he wants to signal how cool he is to all of his friends.
Yeah, thanks for self-identifying as a woke ice cream shop in Lethbridge. Thanks for letting us know. Nobody cares. And to use a phrase I used earlier today, so you're telling me you're going to self-deport from the new country? Why are you threatening me with a good time? Like, this doesn't seem like a problem for independence-minded people.
Yeah. Do you need help packing?
Okay, yeah, I'll get the U-Haul.
Yeah, I'm good at carrying equipment. Yes, out to a truck.
Do we have the name of that ice cream store?
You want to look at the prices too, Wyatt? So did I. I was just like,
this is what you're doing.
I don't want his soy-based products, but I want to know where I can then go and spend my money across the street.
Cookie Crimes Ice Creamery. That TikTok was a crime.
That's just. I hate stuff like that. Just this soy millennial kind of name. Too cute by half. Cookie Crimes. We're kind of quirky over here. We serve ice cream, but we're not like the other guys. It's like, shut the hell up. Look at
this too cute by half business. I don't care for it. But back in the real world, in my hometown, Dow was moving forward with a $10 billion petrochemical project in the fort. So,
by the way, the reason Carney is celebrating the jobs that are being created in like 2025, although he was citing the numbers during the holiday surge when a lot of retail jobs are created, so it's a little fake. But most of the actual full-time jobs, like disproportionately, the full-time jobs being created in Canada are being created in Alberta. Like all the liberal accomplishments are just Alberta accomplishments. It's like, oh my goodness, crime's down. Like, and they're like, oh, it's down 3% across the nation. No. It's down 8% in Alberta, and it's down like 1 or 2% in most other places. And I think Ontario is down like 4. No, they are living vicariously through the achievements of Danielle Smith in Alberta.
Right. And I just put a video in that I took the other day on my way home from Calgary because Sheila can't drive past Irvine's on her way home from Calgary without stopping. For those of you who don't know, Irvine's is Canada's largest Western wear and tack store. It's enormous. Barnes. We lost Alexa Lavoie in there. Like we lost her. She was gone for like a half an hour. We couldn't find her.
Get a hold of her because there's no cell reception in these humongous metal barns. And we just thought, oh, well, she's found her cowboy. There she goes. She must have found him.
You know what? I was hoping for the best. It was like not 90-day fiance. I was hoping for 90-minute fiance.
Oh, agreed.
And they probably snatched her knowing that she's from Quebec and interrogated her to see why she was there. And then they realized she was normal. Let her go.
She's very exotic to the Western folks out here. But I was rolling into Irvine's to spend a little bit of money, do a little retail therapy. And they were inside the building collecting petition signatures. So this is the overwhelming majority of, I think, Alberta businesses. They see the potential for lower taxes as a sacrifice they're willing to make if, you're going to have to put up with fluctuating interest rates if we do leave for a little bit. But on the other side, they see greener pastures. Not like the ice cream man.
No.
Looked as
by the way, okay,
exactly
just let me see if whoever gets closest to the amount without going over is going to win a prize from me. Okay, guys.
This isn't fair. I don't eat ice cream.
How much do you think one ice cream sandwich costs at
I have no idea.
Crimes? Okay,
I'm gonna guess. I've not been in a place like that for a while, but I will say $11.
Oh, you're right on the nose. It's $10.50. So
I can smell a hipster a mile away.
$10.50 for 2 cookies and ice cream between them. I mean, the frugal grandmother that lives within me is just like, absolutely not.
no.
I mean,
Mm.
honest to goodness.
Maybe
So
this
the
is
thing
why
is,
he needed all these new clauses in his lease, because he's going out of business from
Ice
from
cream
from
sandwich.
charging this
cookies.
much.
4 cookies for $12, you guys. Like this just, I mean, I grew up poor. I could never justify it. Like
never.
truly, this isn't even like a special occasion place that I would ever consider, because it's just just wow.
Remember in
Amazing.
Calgary when that place like Modern Donut opened up, and I just immediately saw it. I'm like over it as soon as I see it. I don't care. It's like this is one of those things. Okay, prices are high and everything really does suck in the country right now. At the same time, whenever I hear someone's like struggling to pay rent and I know they go to somewhere like that, my sympathy dies.
Right?
Exactly. I don't
Right?
eat ice cream, so I couldn't have guessed it. But wow. Wow.
I mean, this is definitely a crime. This is a
There-
crime
cookie
of
crime.
something.
Now it doesn't
Cookie
seem so
crime
bad how much they
indeed.
spent on Harper's painting, Lise.
Yeah. Huh?
How many
Lise?
cookies did it cost to paint Harper in the official portrait gallery? I
Yeah.
want to know.
All right. Let's wrap up on the last topic, and I know Lise has some stuff to say about it. So Premier Daniel Smith says the government is going to withhold funds for new judicial appointments in Alberta if the federal government doesn't give us a say on who's picked. And I think this is excellent. Daniel Smith then posts that the appointment of justices to our Alberta courts should be nonpartisan and reflect our province's legal traditions and our values, exactly, our culture. I'm urging Prime Minister Mark Carney to give Alberta a formal and meaningful role in the judicial appointment process that would, boost. Oh no, Sheila. I ran out of room on my screen.
What you
that would boost Olivia zooms it in for me. That would boost public confidence and the administration of justice, support national unity within Alberta, and ensure judicial decision making reflects the expectations of Albertans. Yeah. Damn straight, sister.
Yep.
That's a great issue to jump on, because so many conservatives in Canada are terrified of seeming American by caring a lot about judicial appointments. But there are so many like criminals on our streets. There's so many people who should be locked up in jail because of our terrible selection of judges. This is like an existential threat to the lives of a lot of Canadians, just the terrible judges who don't keep criminals locked up.
Yeah.
Well, and when we are talking about this, I want to bring up that screen cap from the National Post they published in 2023. The proportion of Liberal donors that then become appointed as judges is extraordinary. You guys, look at this. So the National Post did a deep dive into judge appointments, who they gave to, what political parties they gave to, and when they were appointed. And I just want you to look at those red bars. This is from 2016 to 2023. Look at how many Liberal donors were appointed judges in this country and tell me that Conservatives have a chance. Tell me that Conservatives had a chance. This is control of the entire judiciary.
Yep.
I have to ask, is Green Bloc or is that the Green Party?
Oh, can
oh my goodness. The fact that 11% of judges are Green donors is scary.
Isn't that crazy? But like, look at in 2023, green donor judges and Conservative donor judges got the same amount of appointments.
That's
like
just
this is actually one of the more disturbing things that
those
I
are
think
probably
about on a
all
daily basis.
those are probably all the judges that are like ruling on decisions like Cowichan out in British Columbia. All of these insane DRIPA judges who don't understand the what private property is.
And of course,
the straw ruling, the single-use plastics ruling judges.
This is the reason why Canadians are complaining that they are tired of activist judges that only act in the best interest of whatever little hobby they have. Like, this is the reason. And just looking at that table again, like every time I see it, it gets me mad. But that just gives me another nail in the coffin of Confederation. I'm like,
And here's
why are we even trying?
Here's a great easy policy solution that a conservative could implement, and you'd have to grandfather it in a little bit because it wouldn't work for the first few years. But you cannot have any political donations to get to while being appointed as a judge anywhere for 5 years. You can't have any donations for 5 years.
I love this. I
think
love
that
this,
would be
Wyatt.
good.
And
You are in
what?
the judiciary if you serve as a prosecutor, if you
Amen.
serve as a judge, no political donations.
Amen. And we should be electing them too.
Mhm.
In the new country.
In the new country.
In the new country. Okay, I think we should wrap the show. We've already gone 11 minutes over. Wyatt was kind enough to do the full hour and a little
You're the
bit with
best,
us. I know
Wyatt.
we started late, so it's okay to go late.
I'm always the
guess-
reason that we end up going too late anyways.
No, it's Lise. Usually it's Lise. Me too. Who's going to give me trouble? Me? No. All right.
Give them a show. Give them,
Yeah.
you know, the people want a show. We're
They
here
want
to
to
give
show
them a
they're
show.
getting it. We've got to welcome Annette as a premium member to the channel.
Hi, Annette.
Welcome, brand new today. Thanks for coming along with us on this.
Mm-mm.
Enjoy your exclusive behind the scenes content and paywall stuff. Then we've got Light Y7Z gives us $2. Why is Harper teaming up with Lefty Kretchen?
Thank you. I agree. I don't like seeing it. I don't want to hear about it. It just feels like a kick in the face, kick in the teeth at this point in time.
I remain frequently shocked that Jean Chrétien is still alive.
Weekend at Bernie's, they trotted him out.
They did. They weekend at Bernie'd him the other day. He didn't look like he had much life left in him the other day.
Well, he's got to be 750 years old. I mean,
Yeah.
How much is the state funeral going to cost? That's what I want to know. How much is it going to cost taxpayers? That is the only thing I'm concerned about. Thank you.
And are they going to be serving those stupid ice cream cookie sandwiches?
Right.
They are.
That's still going to be like 50% of the cost.
Lise, that guy's going to self-deport to Regina. So you guys got to start working on the Saskatchewan Prosperity Project.
Well,
'cause-
interesting. You should mention tonight in Shaunavon, Saskatchewan. At
Exactly
7 o'clock.
that.
We are going to be with the Saskatchewan Prosperity Project, listening to the great people of Shaunavon, and it's my first ever trip, I think, to Shaunavon, Saskatchewan. I've lived here my whole life, so super looking forward to it.
Okay, let's wrap the show. Before we go, Wyatt Claypool, tell people where they can find you.
Just on the National Telegraph YouTube channel. Basically, if you search my name or you search that, you'll eventually come across something that I'm in.
Yes. All right, Lise.
Oh, we
3
have one more?
straight days. Do we have one more? Oh, we got one
have
more
one more
chat.
comment.
Okay, let's
Yeah.
get to that one. $5. Silverfeet 1280 gives us $5. Torn in between staying and fighting for BC with Dallas or moving to Alberta. It's a tough one.
Well, at least give us one of your votes one time, and then you can leave. I will allow you to. Because if you show up to the Alberta border, I'm going to put my hand in your chest. I'll be like, no, you're
back.
going back there and
Catch your
putting a
vote.
vote. At least vote in Creston or something like that. Although Dallas is going to be in Creston soon. There is a OneBC tour going on.
Yeah.
All right.
Silverfeet. Let us know what you want to do, Silverfeet. Okay.
Yeah. I can't wait till I'm head of DHS in the new country. I just have dreams about what I'm going to do. Lee, let's go ahead.
Do Saskies get grandfathered in? Like, is it like, or will I have to apply for some sort of immigrant status? Like, are you gonna, like, what is gonna happen? Listen, this is a bridge that we can cross when we get to it, but I just don't want to be left behind. That's all. As a Saskian,
We're going to need the Post-it notes and a whiteboard.
Okay.
And a weekend and a case of beer, and we'll figure out what we'll do about that.
Yeah.
Okay, let's wrap the show. Lise, thanks so much for putting in an extra day with us. It feels like, well, it has been the case that I've spent a straight week with you because we were in Calgary on Thursday, conventional weekend.
Yeah.
You went home, I went home, but then we did Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday on the show here.
Tomorrow's going to suck.
Yeah, a little
Okay,
bit.
I'm already mad about not seeing you tomorrow, but thanks so much for having me, fam.
Yes.
Rebel fam. Wyatt Claypool, you were always a delight. Thanks for having me. And yeah, we'll see you same place, same time next week. See you next Tuesday.
That's right. Livia Efron, thanks for putting the show together for us. I know I call for things that are not even on the schedule, not on the board, and I do it out of order. because that's how my brain works. I appreciate you guys working on the fly like that. Those of you who pitched in to keep the lights on here at Rebel News, we couldn't do it without you. For those of you who are unable to do that, but you want to help us out, just engage with the content, leave a comment, share it with somebody you think needs to see it. The more you engage with our content, the higher it ends up on the algorithm. It gets in front of more people's eyeballs. And really, that's the point of all of this, is changing hearts and minds and evangelizing the good word of conservatism. So thank you for that. I think I'm hosting tomorrow. I'm not sure with whom, but we'll see you tomorrow. Somebody will, maybe me, maybe somebody else. But as we frequently say on the show here, if you find us offensive, maybe don't find us at all. Big news, Rebel News now has premium memberships on X, Locals, and right here on YouTube. For just $4.99 a month on YouTube, you'll get loyalty badges, custom emojis, and access to members-only chats during our live streams. At $8.99 a month, you'll also unlock Rebel News Plus shows and our documentaries. But here's the catch. YouTube could cancel that premium tier at any time. That's why the best way to support us is at rebelnewsplus.com. It's just $8 a month, cheaper if you go annual, and you'll get exclusive extras like an ad-free site, comments access, and even the chance to submit op-eds. Wherever you join us, thanks for keeping our independent journalism alive and strong.